Alrighty, what's up, guys? How's it going? Welcome back to another deep dive with Vecflow. Today, we're going through a little scenario, a little bit of my creative side, and we're kind of going through an example. If I owned a restaurant, this is how I would automate everything. All right. So, if we start, all right, let's go to the next page. Right, so let's start off by explaining why I am making this video. So, for starters, a little background. I have been in the hospitality industry before this for around 4 to 5 years. All right, and with that, I have seen the ins and outs of a restaurant industry as I've worked most positions within a restaurant, whether it be bar back, managerial, operations manager, to the floor, to the front. Only one I haven't done was being a chef because I am terrible at cooking. But also, other reasons why I'm making this video is because 90% of restaurants' stress starts with making phone calls, right? Not making phone calls, with the phone calls, right? That's when the caller books in and goes, I need a table. That's when the stress starts, right? Because it's a daunting task, it's meeting that guest's expectations, and maybe they have a different ideology on the standard of service within a restaurant. Um, so really orchestrating that whole process to make that guest feel happy is quite stressful, right? But yeah, I'd set up an AI agent to answer those booking calls 24/7, right? And they will take those bookings and log everything into a CRM, right? So this can be returning customers, it can be new customers, it doesn't matter whatever it is, they will be logged and they will be the bookings will be taken by this AI agent, right? Now this will lead to no missed calls, right? So no lost revenue. No double bookings, so no unhappy guests and bad reviews, which affects your reputation. And instant confirmation, right? So really cuts through the bullshit. It really cuts through all the small talk. It gets to the point, and the customer feels like they're taken care of. So back to the CRM, I would connect everything to a CRM, right? And there's three main reasons, right? Well, three main parts to this is that every customer interaction would be stored, right? And this is even if it's a simple inquiry, right? Because the ability of a AI agent is to recall information from data sets, right? So I now imagine somebody's just calling to get a vibe of the restaurant, right? Now they call again, we have the number, and then this time we can greet them with, "Hey, John, nice to hear from you again," right? Versus, "Hey, this is so and so. How can I help you?" All right. So that's already a level up into customer service, right? Second thing I do is I track who books, who cancels, and who returns, right? Now, within the restaurant industry, you have priorities in terms of the certain guests, right? You can say, for example, we got a returning guest and he has or she has returned 140 times throughout the year, right? Now, I know that they are a loyal guest, and to make them feel even more special, I, as a manager, will be able to go, okay, cool. They're very loyal. Why don't I give them some incentive, as in a free dessert, a free drink, right? Or maybe a loyalty program or whatever it may be, right? The people who cancel, right? Why are they canceling? Now I can start to question why they canceled. Now I can figure out that bottleneck and make sure it doesn't happen again. I can see what type of person they are as well. So you can really put people into different demographics, and that data will be able to improve a business, right? And then obviously who books are, what type of crowd are we getting in? Have we got the party scene? Have we got the upper class? Have we got the lower class? Have we got hospitality workers? Uh, but we have this information, right? And this will allow you to, like I said, will allow you to create loyalty programs, upsell, and do some targeted marketing at the later stage, right? So This can really, one, increase revenue, and then two, increase the reputation, and three, increase the standard of service that this certain place can give, which will also then increase your reputation and your revenue. So, automating follow-ups and reminders. Now, this is a huge part for returning guests and to make guests who have come only once or twice to return to the venue, right? So, a day before and an hour before, there is an SMS that reminds them of their booking, right? I've had a lot of cases where guests have booked a month in advance and they may have forgotten, right? Now, this reduces the no-shows, again, increasing your revenue and ultimately your profit, right? So, what about missed calls, right? Customer gets a follow-up with a booking link, right? So either there can be a voicemail, we call back, or if there's a missed call, we can send an SMS to that number with a booking link and following up that missed call, right? Now, this ultimately saves time and keeps the place full. Now, added on this, right, during hours that a restaurant is closed, this agent still operates. So by the time a certain hostess or manager, rocks in for work, they already have 50% full capacity for the night or the day, right? Again, resulting in more revenue and added profit. So, freeing up staff for what matters, right? Front of house should not be chasing your reservations, right? They are not dogs, and they should not be dealing with high pressure logistics, right? Because now you're focusing on two jobs. You've got logistics, especially for a hostess, and now you expect them to follow up with a high service and a high efficiency and of operation, right? So now, if you're expecting them to do all of those jobs and tasks, how do you expect the job to be done properly, right? So let automation handle logistics, right? Let your team focus on the service, the atmosphere, the guest experience, right? And I'm going to keep repeating myself, which leads to increased reputation, which then leads to added revenue and added profits, right? Now, who doesn't want more money? So, why I built VecFlow this way. VecFlow is my company, right? I built it to replace the chaos with calm, right? Everybody knows when you're in a calm state, you perform better, right? You're not all over the place, You're not making mistakes, right? That you shouldn't be making, that you wouldn't usually be making, right? Because you're now replacing that chaos with the calm, right? And now there is no more stress over calls, missed revenue, or inconsistent experiences. Just a small tweak of replacing a management system and a booking system, right, will increase that revenue, will increase those experiences and decrease those inconsistencies, right? So this is really just a plug and play, right? It is very simple and ridiculously effective. So, what can you do now, right? Even without tech skills, right? This doesn't require coding either. This requires a little bit of common sense and a little bit of training, right? Do me a favor and write down every task your team repeats daily, the mundane tasks, the tasks that your staff complain about. We have to do this again. Those tasks, right? And ask yourself, can this be automated? Can this have a hands-off approach, right? Can this have a system where we only need to check once a month, So start with one problem, such as bookings, follow-ups, or feedback, right? Tools like my company Vecflow or GHL, Zapier, Notion are all game changers, and they will seriously help your business excel. So, guys, if you did find this valuable or you got some form of inspiration to take action, yeah, I mean, thank you for watching. I do have a free community that posts more educational content. The deep dive session is what I'm calling it. So, yeah, if this helped, do drop some comments and likes and whatever. Let me know what you would like to have more discussions about, and if you're interested in what my 2 cents is. If you want me to show this system in real time, I'll drop a demo in the next video. And then also subscribe. If you're building a business that runs smoother, or if you want a business that runs smoother and not harder, right? So, anyways, again, I hope you found this valuable. And yeah, see you next time. Cheers.